Hi, I'm Noah. I'm from the University of Windsor. I'm one of the DSC leads for the University of Windsor, the only one for Windsor, and one of you all. So, title of my talk is Blood, Sweat, and Tears, What It Takes to Plan a Kick-Ass Tech Event. I said this title as a joke to Madusha, and he took it seriously and put it up there. We left it. It's very good. So the kick-ass tech event I'm talking about is the Canadian Undergraduate Computer Science Conference. So this is a national bilingual research conference that brings together undergrad students, scientists, professionals, industry into one centralized hub to talk about the future of computer science. So what's important about that is that it's national and that it's bringing these different groups together. And that's something that I wanted to focus on when they pitched DSC. Joining that is bringing all these different groups together, because sometimes there's a disconnect, especially a disconnect between what you learn in the classroom to what you need when you go to your co-op or your internship. A lot of the time you'll spend a good chunk of your co-op learning some of the skills you wish you learned in the class. So events like this is what we try to do to bridge that gap. So why CUCSC? Why was this important? It brought a bunch of things together. Undergraduate research opportunities. Does anybody do research here with a prof or some kind of outstanding scholars? Yeah, a lot of you. Yeah, we're in a smart people. Look at all you. So do you ever feel like you're sometimes underrepresented or maybe underfunded, under-resourced when you're an undergraduate student doing research? I know a lot of people in Windsor do. I know a lot of people across Canada do. So the importance of this was giving those undergrad students a platform to talk about the research, to present the research, and to get published, which is great when you're trying to get funding and when you're trying to partner with other groups. Another huge one is community building. So in Windsor, we have a really dynamic tech ecosystem. It's very new. We're close to Detroit. If anybody has seen a lot of articles, it'll say Detroit's the next Silicon Valley, blah, blah, blah. What we wanted to do was cater to the flavor of the community. So there's a lot of startups in Windsor and Detroit, and there's a lot of established organizations that weren't necessarily tech-based before that are moving into tech, because every tech company is a tech company, right? So we have Quicken Loans, we have Green Shield, that's a mortgage company, that's an insurance company. No, they're a tech company. So we're building that community of tech and getting people together. And then we're giving opportunities to different people. So we've got women in tech that are underrepresented in Windsor. We wanted to do something about that. We have different groups, a lot of international students. We have one of the highest international student populations in all of Canada. So we wanted to really showcase that as well. And then, like I said before, bridging the skills gap. So we get a huge complaint is that the students will go to their internship and they don't know a certain thing that they needed to know. They have to spend a bunch of time learning that. So we wanted to bridge that gap with industry speakers from a bunch of different companies, which I'll get into. So again, undergraduate research opportunities. Having that academic component brought credibility to the event. So it wasn't just a hackathon. There's nothing wrong with a hackathon for all my hackathon organizers in here. Everybody loves a hackathon. But the academic component really helps with getting funding and with, again, building that undergraduate opportunity, because then they go to grad school. They're going to start their master's degree. Some are going to be a PhD. So we want to give everybody that opportunity. So as you can see, they had their poster there, and they actually got published. This specific group won an award. And what's really cool and what ties into the community building piece is that these students are not computer science students. They are nursing students. Their project was palliative care using artificial intelligence. So we built a community centered around tech that wasn't computer science. These students are nursing students. They got their work published in a computer science journal. So that's something that's really cool. You're bringing all these groups together to do X tasks centered around tech. Yeah. So again, community building. You want to introduce academics to industry, because a lot of the time industry will say, I need somebody who's really skilled in machine learning. Well, a lot of researchers are working on machine learning. So bring them together and just have a conversation. So these folks here, this lady right here, she actually works at a company that requires what his project was, which was a machine learning algorithm. So they were talking about that. He now works at that company from presenting at this conference that was 2 weeks ago. So that's really cool. Like, he had the opportunity to do something. This panel right here was a Ask Industry Anything panel. So we had folks from Green Shield Canada, Google, Quicken Loans, and a company in Windsor called Red Piston that makes applications. So the students will go What do I need to know to do something in an internship? Like, what do I need to do to really kill the interview? What do I need to do well in my first time there? Like, the first day of anybody on the co-op will know, like, the first day is a little bit nerve-wracking. You don't know what it is that you're expected to know, what you're expected to learn. So having this panel, they're actually able to text their questions to the moderator, and they would just ask them. It was unstructured at all. There was discussion, people took notes, people met each other afterwards and continue those conversations. So they walk away with something really concrete, which is exciting. And bridging the skills gap. So this is huge. So the skills gap is what I've talked about it already, but there's a bunch of technologies. There's so many technologies it's hard to keep up with a lot of time, right? So especially as a student, you're already learning a whole set of things in your class. Maybe you're doing some development on the side, but it's unstructured because you don't know what the skills are. So every time you want to learn how to do something, you have to Google it separately, which is great, but you need a little bit of help. So we brought in industry experts. The guy on the left is from GitHub. He taught a GitHub workshop, how to use GitHub effectively. So you're learning how to use GitHub from a GitHub expert. Understanding the community and knowing where you can go to get assistance is so important, because now everybody who's doing some kind of technical interview will have a GitHub, and everybody who went to that workshop will have a really good GitHub. The gentleman on the right is Don Ward, who works at Quicken Loans and is in the Google developer group. He's one of the leads. He leads the Windsor Essex one. He taught a bunch of workshops on that specific one that he was doing was Flutter, and he also taught one on Firebase as well. So different technologies that you need to learn to be able to do whatever task. And maybe you don't know that you need that technology yet, but then when you go to that workshop and you say, oh, this project I'm working on could really use this technology, you walk away with something concrete. And as you can see, he wrote his GitHub on the chalkboard, so now they have the resources from that project. They can work on it later, they can connect with him later. So how I did it, and I use the word I very loosely. It was a team of 17 people, but I'm the only one here talking about it, so it's really how we did it. We had a timeline, very organized timeline, very structured schedule. And there's a quote on the top: "By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail," Benjamin Franklin. You need to prepare early, you need to prepare ahead of time, and you need to be prepared to be flexible. So when I say team building, which is very much what we just heard 2 seconds ago, you're gonna wanna build a core team. You're gonna have people who are very interested in what you're doing, and that's great, but some of them aren't gonna be as reliable as you need them to be. So you wanna build a core team of people that you know, maybe people that you've worked with before, and people who are reliable. So that's what you're doing with DSC. So you're already there. Sponsorship and schedule. These go hand in hand. If you're running an event that requires some kind of sponsorship, get your schedule done first. It gives you a concrete takeaway to give to the sponsor and say, hey, sponsor, give me something. Give me this. This is what we have going on. If you're trying to build out your schedule as well, you'll be able to offer your sponsors speaker slots. So then you hit 2 birds in 1 stone. So really think about how you can build efficiencies into the work you're doing, because you have a ton of work to do to build this conference or anything that you're doing. So this specific conference took us a year to organize, a full year, from August to July. And then we were still doing stuff at the last minute. So just be prepared to have your plan ready to go, get a core team working. Google is your friend, so talk about using Google Drive. You get your sheets together, get your docs together, get one common repository that you can all work from. Really important. Advertising. If there's anything that's important on this slide, it's what I'm about to say. Do not start advertising until you have something to talk about. That's the big thing that we noticed. If you need to build out that schedule first, which is why I have it beforehand, but if you have something to talk about and some kind of call to action, there's something that resonates with the people that you're trying to talk to. So the biggest thing is to have something to talk about before you start talking. If people just see that you're, if it's just fluff, it's just like, this is a great group that we're working on, that we're doing this thing, but you're not telling them what you're doing, they're gonna start ignoring you because it's gonna feel like spam. You only get a few chances to really connect with your audience, so use those really wisely. It's like first impressions. The idea of a first impression is very important. Don't start talking till you have something to talk about. Okay, and then pre-event prep. This is the busiest, most hectic, hardest one to do, because you're doing things like confirming your dietary restrictions, you're getting Wi-Fi access for your guests, you're getting room bookings, you're getting microphones, you're getting tech that you need. It's a bunch of stuff going on. It's very hectic. What helps is a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet. You make a list of everything. Just write every single thing you need down and start assigning it to your team. And then you have everybody has visibility into what everyone's working on, because maybe they're going to do something that someone else is supposed to be doing, and they can do 2 birds in 1 stone, and that's another efficiency right there. So get all your tasks written down. There's a ton of them. Other things like preparing for yourself. Like you're going to have to, so your event, this event was a 3-day conference. Maybe some of your events won't be that extensive, but mentally prepare yourself. You're going to be working about 16 hours that day, from early morning to late at night. Wear comfortable shoes. The shoes I'm wearing right now, wrong shoes to wear. Okay. You'll see all the pictures. You'll see me wearing these shoes. I had a second pair of shoes that I was wearing when I was running around for the whole time. But for the pictures and the talks, I was wearing these shoes. Don't wear shoes like this when you're doing an event. Your feet are going to hurt. You're standing around for 16 hours. So just be prepared to take care of yourself, take care of your team, and you'll have a really successful event. Some things to watch out for. Get your Wi-Fi done early. Get your equipment booked early. A lot of your schools will have offices that you can use to actually book this technology, so you don't have to buy it. Like, don't buy a microphone. You're going to have a school, some kind of communications office. Ours is called the Center for Teaching and Learning, and they have all the mics. They have the clickers. Don't waste your money when you can rent it from the school. Just make those arrangements early, because they're going to get booked out. Think of the guests that you have coming to your event. We had people from all over Canada, so from campuses across Canada. We had industry folks. We had folks from Detroit. We had people from other countries coming. Put the Wi-Fi code on the back of their badge. Oh, mine was flipped the wrong way the whole time. But put the Wi-Fi code on the back of their badge so they have something to do. Like, it's the little things that are really going to make the event really successful, right? You have to think of all those little tasks. So again, make your list. The list is the most important thing. Another important thing, photographer. Always have a photographer. You can have an event, which is great, but if you can't talk about it, there's a photographer right there, hi. You can have an event, which is so important, but always have that photographer, because if you don't have picture, you don't have evidence of what you did, it goes away, people forget. But if you have that photographer and you have that huge, Google Drive of photos ready to go, you can blast those everywhere. Those become your promotional photos. It's a great resource to have. So have a photographer, super important. And just little tidbits like that. You can ask questions about it later, but it's really, the devil is in the details, something my mom always says. Every single thing you need to know, just be prepared. Write it all out so you have that common repository of things to do. It's going to be things you don't think of and not going to be able to think of the day of, so think early. And then your post-event tasks. A lot of people forget about this. Things like thank you notes to your speakers. Things like, you want to make those long-lasting connections, right? You want to add them on LinkedIn. You want to give, but a handwritten thank you note, really classy. It's great. It's something you want to have for people. Pay your vendors. Don't forget to pay your vendors if you had them. If you had catering, if you had parking, if you had IT services, if you had technical services, your photographer, pay them. Build these post-event tasks into your list of things that you have to be doing. Super important. Get your community involved. This is something that I feel like we're going to hear a lot over these next 2 days. But get your community involved. They don't have to be just in your local area, but there's a community of people who are interested in what you're doing, right? The Windsor Star, the pinnacle of fame in Windsor is to be in the Windsor Star. We did it twice. So, but how did we get to the Windsor Star? Because I can't just email them and say, hey, put my article in. We know people who were working with them. We had, use the community that you have, the network that you have, and get connected. LinkedIn is a great tool. So I got a post up there from Medusa about one of the workshops that we did. Canadian Digital Media Network, they're the hub for the 28 tech incubators across Canada. They did some posts for us. We Tech Alliance, our local tech incubator, really championed the whole thing. They put out a press release for us. Get in touch with your local tech incubator. This is part of their job, part of what they love doing. So does everybody have a local tech incubator that they know of? No? Look it up. They're very important to have. So see, you got like Waterloo. There's a Laurier student here. Communitech, they're your tech incubator. Velocity is a tech incubator as well. Waterloo region hosts the second largest tech incubators in the world, and the largest in Canada. So you have great resources. Everybody has. I think Calgary has Creative Destruction Lab. Yeah. So Get in touch with your local tech incubator. Part of their funding and part of their mandate is to connect tech. So get in touch with them. They'll be able to help you out. Get in touch with your local paper. That article on the far right is our local campus paper. And it seems kind of cheesy, but they have a blog. That's another web link that you have. That's another thing that comes up on Google when people search your conference. That's another thing you can tweet about. Any news, anybody you can get to is a great idea. Engaging in relevant events. So like I talked about before, we have a bunch of communities in Windsor that we want to target, particularly women in tech. So we had industry leaders from across tech. We had Yvonne Pilon, CEO of WeTech Alliance. I won't go through the whole list, but TD Innovation Lab, Quicken Loans, Ceridian, representing huge companies, huge roles at these companies that were able to really connect with our delegates, because I cannot connect with a woman in tech. I'm not a woman in tech that can give you what you need to know that they can give you. They have that knowledge. Get the experts, source them out, and really connect with your delegates. That's huge. The business pitch. So this conference, a great push to this conference was that it wasn't just research-based. We had very Dragon's Den, anybody watch Dragon's Den? Shark Tank? Very one of those style events at the conference, where students who are working on business ideas are able to pitch their idea to a panel of experts representing huge companies. So that means, not only does that mean you have another event, which is great, and you have another way to connect with industry, but you have another student group to target. Now you can get business students coming to your event, not just computer science students. Really important. And then, of course, I talked about this before, our industry on campus panel. That was when we had our Ask Industry Anything, which is really cool. And we got WeTech Alliance to sponsor it. So some of these companies will want to sponsor these events. They'll send their own moderator, and they'll do a great promo piece. Like, look how good that banner looks. They did that. And then they posted that out and put a press release. So connect with your community to make engaging and relevant events. Have to do a shout out to Google. We had a Google Cloud workshop taught by a Google Cloud engineer, Alman Dow. He works out of the Toronto office, I believe out of this office, I'm not quite sure. So he taught a workshop on Google Cloud, and it wasn't technical, mostly. There were some technical components, but it was building your career in a cloud world, right? So not just finding a cloud job, but taking any job and using the cloud to benefit that job and build your career. So engaging relevant events that people want to hear about, because that's really cool. Part of an undergrad student is that you're trying to learn how to build your career. Where are you going to go next? What are you going to do now? Have something to cater to that market. This is my last slide, and it ends with a quote from Martha Stewart, the domestic diva. And I will also say Martha Stewart, first self-made female billionaire in the world. So, shout out to Martha Stewart. So the pie isn't perfect. Cut it into wedges, stay in control, and never panic. It sounds cheesy, because it is. You are going to spend lots of time putting this event together, right? You're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of talking, a lot of work. Something's going to go wrong. 2 days before the conference, we had a keynote speaker cancel. I almost screamed. I did scream. So I thought, okay, what was the talk on? The talk was in artificial intelligence. Who else do I know is an expert in artificial intelligence? Director of the School of Computer Science at University of Windsor is an artificial intelligence researcher specializing in evolutionary algorithms. I called him at 9:30 at night. He actually answered the phone. I asked him to speak in 2 days. He said, I'll be there. We had that solved. That keynote speaker was getting paid $3,000, and he canceled 2 days before. So very stressful. Something will go wrong. Don't freak out. The biggest thing, too, this is something my mom always says as well, nobody is going to know something is going wrong unless you show them. So I have this big forehead wrinkle on my forehead right here. I get it from going like this a lot or like this. Don't do that. Don't be that person. None of the delegates who have bought tickets to this or from out of town are going to know that something is going wrong the day of the event unless you show it on your face, right? Everything's going to run smoothly. If you get a different speaker, nobody needs to know that my keynote canceled 2 days before and that we had to have another one. It's going to be fine. Do not show that there's a problem, because that's what's going to make the mood of the event. It's part of the have fun thing that they talked about, right? It's going to really kill the mood of your event if you're running around looking stressed out with a big forehead wrinkle because something went wrong unexpectedly. But it's, So be prepared for something to go wrong. Have backups for everything. Anybody in cloud computing will know the concept of high availability. be a highly available person, essentially, right? Have backups for your backups. You know, be prepared that somebody's going to cancel, so maybe have a couple other speakers in mind that you can contact. Be prepared that catering's going to screw something up, so tell them to be there half an hour early than they actually have to be, because they're probably going to be a half hour late regardless. It's never a problem to have too much food either. So be prepared for things like that too, right? Something is going to go wrong, don't show it on your face, be prepared to fix it. Because if you don't fix it, your event's going to tank. But if you do fix it, nobody's going to know the difference. So just in takeaway from anything, plan early, be prepared for failure, put a good event together, connect with your community. Those are the biggest takeaways that I think you should have from this, regardless of the event you're doing. Our event was a large-scale national event that took 3 days. The same principles apply to a 1-hour workshop. Exact same principles. Plan early, be prepared for things to screw up, and just have fun with it too, right? Don't stress out if something does go wrong. So, and are there any questions? Do we have time?
Thank you, Noah.